This is the secret story of nutmeg.
And one or two people have said to me, I've said it to myself, that's what death is going to be like. And oh, what fun it will be.
How do you mean that?
Well, I mean that there are the colors and the beauties, the designs, the beautiful way things appear. People themselves, dull people that I thought of, appear fascinating, interesting, mysterious, wonderful. But that's only the beginning. A man was saying it this afternoon who was taking it. Suddenly you notice that there aren't these separations, that we're not on a separate island shouting across to somebody else and trying to hear what they're saying and misunderstanding them. You know, you use the word yourself, empathy. This thing's flowing underneath. We're parts of a single continent. It meets underneath the water. And with that goes such delight, the sober certainty of waking bliss.
For centuries, the seed of the Mystrica fragrance tree, nutmeg, also known as muscat, has been sought after by people all over the world for its perceived medicinal and magical powers. It has been called the spice of life, or the spice of kings. Thought to have cured the plague, have aphrodisiac qualities, and even cure flatulence, nutmeg was considered a symbol of wealth and status over thousands of years, instigating the birth of capitalism, globalism, and violent genocide and war. But why was this spice really so valuable? The answer may surprise you. Nutmeg's qualities and its story could be just what we need to cure our modern day ailments. We want to explore its incredible history and the mystery that surrounds its real value to society over time. Welcome to the secret story of nutmeg, the mysteries and histories of a seed that shaped the world. So, it's time. In the last episode, we had a bit of a dig into the mystical story that Trad had found. A story that has had my friends wondering if I've gone mad, even though I am just the interpreter. A story that covers millions of years and asks so many questions about our intentions for changing the world to our very evolution as a species. It does sound far-fetched, and yet we haven't even got into the conspiratorial theories yet. Do you remember? Nutmeg's psychedelic chemicals shaped human empathy through ancient hobbit-like ancestors in Wallacea, stayed a guarded secret for millennia, helped trigger globalization, then pacified industrial society once abundant. So, is it far-fetched? Far-fetched is a term that dates back to the 16th century. Interesting period that, the age of discovery, when the Europeans started their search for the origin of spices, like nutmeg. Items brought back from a long way away, in English, were far-fetched. Fetched from afar. Nutmeg has always been far-fetched by its very location. So does that give it license now for any story about it to be so? Origins of words intrigue me, as you may well know. Fetch is also the term for the distance that a wind blows in a reasonably straight line. Something sailors would know, and I guess when you are travelling a long distance, you would like to be in a long fetch from A to B to get there quicker. Finding the roaring 40s for the Dutch when they were looking for the nutmeg was like fetch heaven. But I am digressing. So, it's time again. This far-fetched story of a spice fetched from afar needs some reasoning. There are a number of things we need to explore, and as we have said before, I hope we have drawn out a map of that trading history that not only gets us to the source of nutmeg, but shows us the lengths that the Europeans in the modern age have taken to find and secure that source. The period of discovery of the location of nutmeg not only drew a map in this story, but literally drew a map of the whole world that had never been drawn before. Did you search out the Platonomy maps? By the way, that is spelt Pltonemy. Those maps drawn from 2,000 years ago that allude to places far flung from Rome, maps drawn from stories drawn from maps. Finding these and adding to Trad's story was a turning point for me to really believing there was something to his, for want of a better word, myth. And I don't mean myth as in lie. I mean myth as in mythology. Mythology presents stories to us that play a role in the functioning of our societies. This story Trad gave us is mythic. It gives a recipe for better living, in a way, by its core theme, that empathy is essential for a better world. That's what got me in. Looking at the map set my course. Nutmeg has profound influence on society. Now I want to know why. Like, what is in this nut? From the macro to the micro. What is within is without. As above, so below. What is it in Mystrica fragrans really? What evidence do we have that makes this plant and its nut so special? Special enough to draw a map of the whole planet in its pursuit. And why this one?
My husband was an employee here at the VA, and he told me that they were looking for normal people, and I volunteered.
I see. Do you feel you're normal?
I hope I'm normal. I think so.
Altered states of consciousness have been known for a very long time to have the ability to change the way one thinks.
Well, a little while back you took quite a series of psychological tests, and I can assure you that you're a very stable and well-balanced person as a result of the test. And how do you feel about coming here and drinking this strange material?
I'm a little nervous, perhaps.
Well, I think that's normal. Well, I think it's time. Drink this down, and we'll be back after a while and see how you're doing.
And an altered state of consciousness doesn't necessarily mean you're on a drug-induced trip. Dreaming could be described as an altered state of consciousness. Daydreaming could be described as an altered state of consciousness. Flow states, Those deeply immersive experiences where focus is so intense and time is lost could also be described as an altered state of consciousness. You can get an altered state of consciousness from being ill, in a coma, or high fevers. It came to me in a fever dream. Meditation could be described as an altered state of consciousness, as to hypnosis. And so can a psychedelic experience.
Let it observe the effect some 3 hours later.
Well, tell me.
Well, I just couldn't. I couldn't possibly tell you. It's here. Can't you feel it? This whole room, this, everything is in color, and I can feel the air. I can see it. I can see all the molecules. I'm part of it. Can't you see it?
I'm trying.
Oh, it's just like you're released, or you're free, or...
An altered state of consciousness is going to be temporary and change a person's awareness from their normal state of thinking into something new. Normal things can appear new as if they were being seen for the first time. Everyday experiences can become awe-inspiring. Thoughts can be exciting. Veils can be lifted. A thinning between what is known or what is perceived as reality to what else may be.
Yes, everything is one. You have nothing to do with it. I am one with what I am. I can see everything in color. Everything. You have to see the air. You can't believe it.
The lady we've been hearing here was given a dose of lysergic acid in the early 1960s. Lysergic acid, also known as acid or LSD, is not what's in nutmeg. It was first synthesized in 1938 from another natural source, ergo, a fungus that grew on grain, by Albert Hofmann, a Swiss chemist looking for a safe respiratory and circulatory stimulant. 5 years after he found this, Albert accidentally ingested some of this lysergic acid. And when he arrived home, he, quote, lay down and sank into a not unpleasant intoxicated-like condition, characterized by an extremely stimulated imagination, in a dreamlike state, with eyes closed. I found daylight to be unpleasantly glaring. I perceived an uninterrupted stream of fantastic pictures, extraordinary shapes with intense kaleidoscopic play of colours. After some 2 hours, this condition faded away. 3 days later, he decided to purposefully give himself a dose, what we now know as quite a large dose, and felt its effects coming on as he rode home on his bicycle. It was April the 19th, 1943, a day now affectionately known by psychonauts around the world as Bicycle Day. As far as we know, this was the first recorded use intentionally of LSD in history. Intentionally. But was Albert the first person ever to be affected, either on purpose or by accident? There is conjecture that throughout history this acid coming from the fungus that developed in poor storage of grains may have had an effect on societies before. 2 events in history have a link to an outbreak of ergotism, the condition that arises when humans are exposed to too much of the fungus ergo. the same fungus that Albert Hofmann synthesized LSD from. Now, of course, this doesn't mean that ergo itself will produce LSD-like effects, but amongst the many afflictions caused by ergotism, also called St. Elmo's or St. Anthony's fire, was hallucinations. And two major events in history, the Salem witch trials and the French Revolution in Paris, had one thing in common: an outbreak of ergotism in society. I'll leave that up to you to dig out and explore, but these were big events in history and partly may have been instigated or at least enhanced by the mass ingestion of psychedelics, even if it was accidental. Two pretty large stories that play a role in the function of our society today. Mythic, far-fetched.
Shamanism is not some obscure concern of cultural anthropologists. Shamanism is how religion was practiced for its first 1,000,000 years. Up until about 12,000 years ago, there was no other form of religion on this planet. That was how people attained some kind of access to the sacred.
Many cultures had a person or persons in their community whose job was to alter their own consciousnesses, to change their states of mind, maybe to lose their state of mind, to relinquish themselves, or deeply to listen or see something hidden whilst in their normal state of mind. And in this state, devoid of the everyday vicissitudes of life, they would find answers, solutions, questions, wisdoms, stories, love. Like they were visiting another world deep within themselves, or far, far away, and returning with a gift, an elixir, the truth, fetched from afar, far-fetched. There could be monks meditating, shamans, witch doctors, altering worlds, wandering the wilderness, returning with the cure, the solution.
Well, in 15 minutes to try and say something about shamanism and hallucinogens, we're just going to touch the surface. And I figure the simplest way to do this is just to sort of unload on you how I see these things.
Terence McKenna, born in Colorado in 1946, was an ethnobotanist. An ethnobotanist studies the relationships between plants and humans, and he was a hard yes to the concept of direct plant-based experiences and the way over deep time these have affected human society.
Plants with hallucinogenic chemical principles in them have had an enormous impact on shaping the psychology of various cultures, both pre-literate and literate, throughout the world.
He had a theory that humans, and fungi especially, are inextricably linked in the evolution of the human mind.
Well, we tend in our culture to make a radical distinction between drugs and foods, with what we call spices sort of falling somewhere in the middle. In point of fact, a culture is what it eats, and an individual's personality is often largely a reflection of their diet. There has not been a human culture that did not bear upon it the stamp of its relationship to certain plants, which altered the individual and mass psyche.
I first came across Terence down some of those rabbit holes I entered 2 decades ago. Rabbit holes I didn't want to re-enter. However, I'm finding myself there again. And 2 decades on, for some reason, they don't seem so preposterous.
Because we have our lives to lead, mortgages to pay, children to feed, car payments. But if someone tells you, eat this plant and you will come into your birthright, that's a real existential challenge. The excuse that it's difficult or unattainable has been removed. There can no longer be shilly-shallying around that issue. Shamanism, therefore, is a call to authenticity.
So how did we get here? Down this hole again. Trad's main point, nutmeg contains a chemical makeup that can alter minds and has done so over the eons, isn't so far-fetched. Various cactuses, nightshades, cannabis, opium, salvia, iboga, tobacco, coca, mimosa, mushrooms, the list goes on. So why not nutmeg? I'm careful not to try and prove or disprove what Trad says. I really don't need to, but there is something intoxicating to me about the story, about digging around the stories attached to it, like mycelium under the earth that connects each mushrooming fruit we see above. Everything is connected. I also find stories themselves intoxicating. Stories alter my consciousness, digging them out, rearranging them, finding ways to bring them to life. Stories to me are a direct human attempt to synthesize what we feel deep down of the way life and death works, and maybe provides answers to our inquiring minds of where we come from, what we are doing here, and where we are going. Stories are close to us. We make them up. We recognize them. We believe some. We don't believe others. Far-fetched for a time, but eventually can feel not so far-fetched at all if we listen, if we ingest, and we feel their effects. The metaphor gets deeper. The myth has meaning to me.
Now, Gerald, I know you have great personal experience with
Lysergic acid. What do you think of it?
to do that in 2 minutes, eternity in an hour. It's almost impossible, of course, as all the patients say, to describe it. You can only say it isn't, it isn't, it isn't, trying to tell people what it is. Well, of course, I don't know any of our friends that have taken it but haven't said this one thing in common. Well, I never knew anything like that in the whole of my life. And 1 or 2 people have said to me, I've said it to myself, that's what death is going to be like. And oh, what fun it will be.
How do you mean that?
Well, I mean that there are the colors and the beauties, the designs, the beautiful way things appear. People themselves, dull people that I thought of, appear fascinating, interesting, mysterious, wonderful. But that's only the beginning. A man was saying it this afternoon who was taking it. Suddenly you notice that there aren't these separations, that we're not on a separate island shouting across to somebody else and trying to hear what they're saying and misunderstanding them. You know, you use the word yourself, empathy. These things flowing underneath. We're parts of a single continent. It meets underneath the water. And with that goes such delight, the sober certainty of waking bliss.
This is the secret story.